Now I'll move on to our partner from the British Library, the digital curator at the British Library, Tom Derrick, who's going to talk about their collaboration with Wikisource. Over to you, Tom.
Yes, thank you very much, Sadeep, and hello to everybody attending this call from around the world. It's great to see so many people. So my name is Tom Derrick. I'm digital curator at the British Library, and I'm in this talk going to discuss the competitions that I've been running with Bengali Wikisource. And you can move to the next slide, please, Sadeep. So firstly, just a bit of background to the material that we've been working with. It's part of a project called 2 Centuries of Indian Print, which over the course of the last few years has been digitizing rare and unique, or predominantly rare and unique printed books from the British Library's South Asian printed book collection. So these are out of copyright books dating predominantly from the 19th century. And has been funded by the Arts Humanities Research Council in the UK and the UK government as well. So in total, we've digitized now more than 1,600 books across several languages, mainly in Bengali, but also Assamese, Sylheti, and Urdu. And this project has kind of worked quite expansively across different areas and strands, such as digitization of the books, cataloging of them for the first time, lots of community and public outreach. And then I come in on the digital research side of things. And I'm fairly new to Wikisource, as one of the previous speakers was saying. And I've only really been working with it this year, specifically with Bengali Wikisource, as I mentioned. So if you move on to the next slide, please. So why were we interested in working with Wikisource? What was our motivation? Well, we established a connection with Bengali Wiki community through a kind of unrelated workshop that we ran a couple of years ago, I think it was, in India. So our project has been running workshops in India around digitization and digital research methods. And that led to a discussion about potential for using Wikisource. And then we also had a guest speaker at the British Library who was from the National Library of Scotland, who discussed their project to put digitized chapbooks on Wikisource. And they specifically talked about the success and the visibility of their books within the Wikisource environment and how many views they were getting, which turned out to be more than they were actually receiving, I believe, to their own to the digitized chapbooks that they'd made available through their library image viewers. So that kind of caught our interest, and we were looking for, a place to put our digitized material in addition to making it available through the British Library's catalogue. So Wikisource seemed an obvious place to increase the visibility and widen access to these books, and also to make them available to users who would prefer to engage with a Bengali language platform as opposed to the British Library's English-only platform. I'm talking about the interface language. We also had existing OCR transcriptions for these books that we have been producing using a tool called Transcribus, which requires some prior training, but then can be trained to recognize many different languages. And we achieved pretty good accuracy with our transcriptions. We wanted to know whether we could make these available through Wikisource, to save the job of having to OCR them within the Wikisource platform. And we worked closely with Bodhisattva from Bengali Wikisource to kind of assess the accuracy of these OCR transcriptions against OCR produced using Google's Cloud Vision API within Wikisource. And it was decided at the time to go with the Google OCR. So the books that we have been putting up through Wikisource have actually been using the Google OCR, although we've more recently had discussions around the potential for Wikisource and the Transcribus text recognition tool to come together, and potentially that tool could be used within Wikisource. Yes, so we also have an interest in potential reuse of any transcriptions that are produced through Wikisource, and we'd be extremely interested if we can export transcriptions and make them available as open data sets so that anybody could work with them and pass through the hundreds of thousands of pages of text. So if you could go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so what we've actually undertaken with Wikisource is a couple of proofreading competitions. One ran earlier this year between March and April, and the other one is just coming to a close now. And through these competitions, we've made available a kind of diverse range of notable works from these 19th century Bengali books. My role was to kind of batch upload them using the Pattypan tool to Wikimedia Commons. And from there, Body from Bengali Wikisource has been doing, just an incredible job of making these available through Wikisource and Wikidata as well. And of course, we promoted the competitions to try and garner some interest in them. The competitions were just made open, or rather there were prizes that were given out through the competitions, and the prizes were given out to Indian-based nationals only. So the competition was restricted in the sense to those based in India. And through these competitions, more than 40 books have been fully proofread, and that amounts to more than 5,000 pages, with prizes given out to the top contributors. So it's been a very good exercise in achieving books that are fully proofread and we know that are excellent. And we also contributed some books towards the Tagore proofreading competition, which took place recently as well. And if you just go to the next slide, please, which I believe is the last one. Yeah, we have there's a GLAM page that Body's put together, which is very useful for, you can see that in the image here, which tracks the progress of the project and the collaboration with Wikisource, upcoming plans. And our upcoming plans are, in fact, to continue uploading books to Wikimedia Commons and Wikisource. We've digitized thousands of books through this project. And of course, to work with the other Wikisource language platforms as well for those that we've digitized. And yeah, it's been an extremely good partnership from our point of view. We'd like to continue sharing our experiences with you around text recognition tools specifically, and other services that might prove to be useful for collaborative work. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to this talk.